Hello, I'm Dr. Laura Murillo, President and CEO of the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. Recently had the opportunity to visit Camp Hope, and I learned a lot about the great work that they're doing there and how they're helping many veterans take care of some of their challenges regarding PTSD. Joining us today is none other than Chris Knight, and he is going to talk to us more about the work they're doing at Camp Hope. Thanks for joining us, Chris.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the time that you guys are giving us to speak about what we do here at the PTSD Foundation of America and Camp Hope.
Well, thank you so much for being here. So for folks who may not be familiar, let's start with that. What are you all doing and what is Camp Hope?
So what we do is we actually provide a 6 to 9 month program at Camp Hope. And this 6 to 9 month program, that's the minimum that a combat veteran usually comes to us. And we provide the two core things that we provide. It's a Christ-centered, principled approach with peer mentorship for those veterans. So everything is stacked around those two things. And those peer mentors are actually combat veterans that went through our program at some point and has come back to be mentors for these individuals. Now, over the years, we've added on counseling. So what we do is we refer them to an on-site counseling staff for any counseling needs that they have, and so they can address those co-occurring disorders and or potentially individually chemical dependency concerns that they find themselves in as they're going through and dealing with their trauma and everything else that comes with combat.
So have you found with the individuals that you are working with that chemical dependency or drug usage are typically go hand in hand with them dealing with PTSD?
Absolutely. A lot of times what we run into is our veterans that come to us, we are at about a 90% of those that show up at Camp Hope or come to our services, even at our outreach locations, have suffered from some type of abuse of some type of pharmaceutical and or chemical dependency of some sort, alcohol, drugs. So that is definitely a key factor in what we have to work through and helping them overcome. So obviously, as you probably understand, there's also a level of trying to get them as much distance with sobriety, their last use, and giving them as much sobriety time as possible. Because what we found is usually it's that 2-year mark. Once they pass the 2-year hump, that they're able to be 90% successful and not going back and reusing a substance in any way, shape, or form.
So for families and loved ones, what does this look like? What are things that they should look for as it relates to veterans and them exhibiting PTSD?
The number one thing that we've always, even myself, I've gone through, you can see some of the accolades that I have, and that's, to me, it's just a reflection of the past, and not trying to place myself, my identity into what I used to be. And that's looking at what are they going into self-isolation. So if they're going into self-isolation, they're starting to, if you notice in the, before they went to combat and then they came back, and now you're starting to realize, my combat vet is starting to self-isolate. They're not, integrating with anybody else. They're trying to avoid people or avoid doing things that they enjoyed in the past. That is the first sign that a family member may realize or may notice that, okay, there's something going on with them. The hardest part is getting them to realize that that's what they're doing. And a lot of times what we found, because a lot of them go into, like, they have that co-occurring disorder with chemical dependency, is that they will avoid it at all costs until it's almost too late that they realize that they have to have something, or they're at the bottom of where they're at in order to pick themselves back up, which is very unfortunate. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to get ahead of that. So right now, when you look at the 2 decades of war that we went through, you actually had a little over 6,000 individuals we lost in combat. We're losing more than 16,000 on a year to self-inflicted wounds. So, and that, to me, those self means like there's something we can do. We got to get in that space and we got to fill that gap with something else. So it's vitally important that when we notice that, we start talking to our vets. And what we've been trying to do is usually it takes a vet, another veteran, to get another veteran to open up. And that's one of those things. We have major trust issues with those that didn't go through what we went through. And it's vitally important. So what have we done to overcome that too is with our outreach program that we have, We have warrior groups. So you can start to have that connection. Someone that's actually a peer mentor, our veteran coordinator will run that as a peer mentor. And then that's when we start to actually explore some of like identifying a little bit early on, like where are they at and what resources do they need, but they also have that community and also trying to help build an ecosystem around giving them the support that they need to overcome what they're going through.
Also, something that I learned was the importance of corporate partners and making sure that you have corporations and individuals who can help fund, because for the veteran, this comes at no cost to them other than their time and their willingness to accept that they need help and support. And so if you're out there and you have an interest, we hope you'll contact the folks at Camp Hope so they can continue to serve and help our veterans and loved ones and family members. Thank you so much for your time and for all that you all are doing.
Thank you. We appreciate everything you guys have done to allow us to come out and speak a little bit about what we do. And I would say, please don't hesitate if you want to become a partner, a volunteer, or a donor in some way, shape, or form, or you have a network that can help us fund what we do for these veterans. I would ask that you reach out to us and come out and visit us. We'll show you what we do firsthand. It blows people away. They don't realize what we're really doing on ground at Camp Hope until they actually come out and see it. So thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to actually speak about it and actually show the community what we're doing. And that started right here in Houston, Texas. And I'm from Michigan. I don't believe this could have started anywhere else other than here in Houston. So thank you guys very much. And God bless the community for helping us make this better than what it ever could have been and where we want to go in the future.
Thank you so much. We'll see you soon. Goodbye.
Thank you.